How many miles had he walked? How long had he waited for someone to listen? That kind of loyalty, so pure, so unshaken, wasn't just survival. It was love, and Miller knew she couldn't walk away. The mobile vet unit arrived within minutes, lights flashing quietly through the dense tree canopy. Miller guided them to the spot where the older German shepherd lay motionless, her tiny guardian still at her side. The team worked swiftly, administering fluids and pain medication, while carefully lifting the wounded dog onto a stretcher. The puppy let out a sharp yelp as they moved her, his body trembling as if afraid they were taking her away. Miller scooped him up, holding him close to her chest. "She's going to be okay," she whispered, though she wasn't entirely sure. She just knew he needed to hear it. Back at the clinic, the older dog, who the staff began calling Shadow, underwent emergency surgery. A shattered leg, multiple fractures, internal bruising. It was a miracle she was still alive. The pup, now affectionately named Scout, never left the corner of the recovery room. He waited, silent and unmoving, watching every time a door creaked open. Miller visited them every day after her shift. Scout would race to her, tail wagging furiously, eyes filled with familiarity and trust, and Shadow, still weak, would lift her head ever so slightly when Miller entered the room. One afternoon, Scout crawled up beside his mother, nudged her gently, then looked back at Miller as if to say, "She's coming back." That moment cracked something open in Miller. She wasn't just helping rescue dogs anymore. She was watching a family fight to heal with a bond deeper than words. And it was beautiful. Weeks passed, and Shadow slowly regained her strength. Her eyes, once dull and clouded with pain, now sparkled when Scout curled up beside her. The clinic staff marveled at her progress, crediting it not just to the medical treatment, but to the constant presence of her pup. Scout never left her side. He was her hope. Miller had a decision to make. Each visit to the clinic had deepened her connection to both dogs. She found herself smiling more, sleeping better, feeling something she hadn't in years, purpose. One quiet evening, as Scout nuzzled into her lap and Shadow rested her head on her boot, Miller knew the answer had already found her. "I want to adopt them," she said softly to the vet, who grinned knowingly. The adoption papers were signed. Within days, Miller brought them home to a quiet cabin just outside town, where trees swayed and birds sang. Scout took to the place immediately, chasing butterflies and barking at squirrels. Shadow walked with a slight limp, but carried herself with grace, always keeping Scout in sight. But something else changed, too. Miller, the woman who once walked alone, now had a family waiting at the door, tails wagging, hearts full. Sometimes people say animals find the humans they need, but Miller knew the truth. Scout hadn't just found help, he found a forever home, and Miller found love. If you were moved by this incredible story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss an amazing tale like this. Stay with us for more heartwarming and unbelievable stories. Thank you for watching. No, no! His trembling hands searched frantically for the dog, but he could only feel the the lifeless weight pressed against the pavement. "Stop resisting!" another officer yelled. I'm trying to reach my dog," Harrison pleaded, tears already mixing with the rain on his face. But before he could finish the sentence, a second taser fired. The electricity ripped through his body. Harrison convulsed, his cane skittering across the asphalt, his fingers clawing helplessly at the ground. Cars honked. People yelled. Phones came out. Chaos spread like fire. And Vala, the dog who once survived a battlefield, lay motionless beside him for a moment. The entire street fell into a stunned silence, broken only by Harrison's gasping breaths and Vala's faint, pained whimpers. Then, like a fuse finally igniting, the crowd exploded. "What are you doing?" someone shouted. "He's blind." Another yelled, "You tasered a service dog." People rushed toward Harrison. The situation spiraled. A young woman named Elena, a nursing student walking home from class, dropped to her knees beside a nearby curb, hands shaking as she dialed 911. She had seen the patch on Harrison's jacket, the faded army insignia he still wore with quiet pride. "Veteran attacked," she told the dispatcher urgently. "His service dog is down. He's down. You need to send someone now." "Local police are already on scene," the dispatcher replied. "No," Elena whispered, voice trembling with anger. "You truly don't understand. The police did it all." The dispatcher paused. "Then I'm transferring you to military emergency response." Across the street, another bystander, an older man, recognized Harrison instantly. "That's Sergeant Cole," he murmured. "He saved my nephew overseas twice." Within minutes, alerts were triggered, radios crackled, orders were issued that a report went out. Decorated blind veteran injured by local police. Service dog incapacitated. Immediate response requested, and the military did not hesitate. The ground began to tremble before anyone saw the vehicles. A deep, rumbling vibration rolled through the intersection, silencing even the angriest voices. Heads turned, phones lifted, and then through the distant shimmer of heat, 3 military Humvees burst into view, speeding toward the blocked-off street with sirens that weren't police but tactical. "Why is the army here?" an officer muttered, fear creeping into his voice. The convoy didn't slow down. It dominated the road. Humvee skidded to a halt just feet from the stunned officers. Doors flew open. Soldiers, fully geared military police, flooded out, forming a protective wall around Harrison's trembling body and Vala's motionless form. "Step back," the commanding MP barked. "This veteran is under military jurisdiction now. One officer tried to protest. You can't. This is our scene," the MP got in his face. "You tossed a blind sergeant and his active duty certified service dog. You are done talking." Medics rushed to Vala first. The dog's chest rose faintly, shallow, weak, but alive. A second team lifted Harrison gently onto a stretcher when the commanding officer saw Harrison's name patch. His expression changed instantly. "Sergeant Cole," he whispered, stunned. "He saved my unit and Kandahar." Rage replaced shock. Turning to the officers, he pointed at their tasers. "Body cams. Now, hand them over." The police hesitated. Big mistake. But MPs stepped forward, hands on their belts. This is no longer your investigation." The officers hesitated. The military police closed in, and suddenly their badges didn't feel like protection anymore. One MP ripped the first body cam off an officer's vest. Another collected the tasers, tagging them as evidence. The police chief, who had just arrived and tried to act in control, froze when he saw the military convoy. "This is a breach of protocol," he began. The commanding MP cut him off cold. "The only breach here is your department's assault on a blind war hero." He played the footage. The video didn't lie. Showed Harrison calmly crossing the road. It showed Valor guiding him. It showed the officer screaming commands Harrison couldn't see. And it showed the taser firing without justification. But the audio was worse. Point one officer laughed. "Betty's faking being blind." Another muttered, "Dog better not bite me. I'll fry him." The crowd gasped. Soldiers exchanged disgusted looks. The MP lieutenant shook his head slowly. "These men are under arrest," he said. The officers were cuffed on the spot, stunned, humiliated, powerless. Meanwhile, medics lifted Valor into a military transport, Harrison's hand resting weakly on the dog's fur. For the first time since the chaos began, justice was finally moving. Harrison walked slowly, the sterile hum of machines filling his ears. Was Valor truly alive? The dog whimpered softly, his bandaged chest rising and falling. Harrison's breath broke with relief as he reached out, fingers trembling, brushing the dog's fur. "You're okay? You're okay, buddy?" he whispered